Hi. Today I'd like to talk about a pedal that is near and dear to my heart, the Electro-Harmonix Worm. The Worm is a modulation pedal with 4 modes. It has a vibrato, which is my favorite. A tremolo. A phaser. And a wah. These 4 modes can be thought of as Ant 1 on Pedal of the Day elegantly refers 4 flavors of phaser. Ignoring the rotary mode knob, you have 2 other knobs, rate and range. Rate works exactly like you'd think it'd work on a modulation pedal. It just speeds up the LFO or slows it down. Range is a mystery lost to the PCB. I don't know really what it does. It's unclean, it's distorted, it's messy. It does like mysteries depending on which pedal you have it on. The wah control, it changes where the Q is, if we're calling it the Q. It's very, very fun. It's incredibly engaging. It's like, it trains you to think outside the box, because you're not just adding in a bit of phaser or something. It really like alters the sound of the phaser and how much high end, how much low end is in your guitar signal. It's a thinking man's depth control, really. Now, stepping away from the range control, you have very, very important part of the Worm. It is giant and it is rad looking, and it takes 24 volts, which is an absurd amount of power. That is way too much power for a pedal to be taking, let alone the fact that you might think, oh, it's going to headroom. It is not going to headroom. I don't know where it's going, but it's absolutely not headroom. Maybe it's the little LFO LED that moves. This is probably the most distorted, dirty, preamp behaving modulation pedal that I have ever played, and I love every minute of it. I play my guitar because of this big fella through the second input on my Twin. Nobody plays through the second input. The second input is basically a mystery, and I enjoy playing through the second input. I enjoy playing through it very, very much with my Electro-Harmonix Worm. This Electro-Harmonix Worm that is sitting on top of my amplifier is the big box variant of the Worm. It came out in the late 90s to early 2000s, I think. My variant has these claw-like knobs, but there's another Worm that has like the standard hockey puck knob, like the classic Electro-Harmonix thing. And I want one of those very, very much, but I don't think that I need another Worm yet. The Worm XO, don't even think about it. It's, it's pedal board friendly. It's very, very affordable. It has no noise problems. It still takes 24 volts. I think that someone needs to fix that at one point. I don't think that we need to have a pedal that takes 24 volts. Now, beautiful screen printing aside, the biggest selling point of the entire Worm, a giant wooden box. For some reason, Electro-Harmonix said, late 90s, presumably, we must put all our pedals in big wooden boxes with the finest quality plywood. It is incredibly intriguing. I love the fact that it came with a giant wooden box. I would buy them just for the fact that it came with a giant wooden box. I would buy a signal splitter if it came with a giant wooden box. And it has this just like wooden box slide door that my grandfather would be absolutely gobsmacked about. But the secrets that lie inside the box, this pedal comes with some manuals, some beautiful, beautiful colored manuals, an absolute piece of iconic history, which is the North American Free Trade Agreement Certificate of Origin that came with the box. The stickers, which have been unused, very, very interesting. There's a movie, AMC Randhurst slip inside of here for auditorium 8. If you were the one who owned this Electro-Harmonix worm and you put that in there, hi, I have your worm and I enjoy it greatly. But I have a question. Did Electro-Harmonix do this or did someone else do this? There is a worm lore, there's a fish lore in the box. This came with the box. It looks like it's dirty. It was probably in the East River. I don't know what diseases have been trapped inside this bag, but this is so fascinating to me because Electro-Harmonix did put these inside of this. Was it just to make us happy, or did they think that like they were selling a big fisherman pedal, like we would all be fishing with this? And maybe that'd be where the next big Electro-Harmonix payout would come in. This is one of my favorites, if not my favorite modulation pedal, especially just for vibrato, because I basically leave vibrato on all the time. I love phaser. The wah mode is incredibly interesting, and the tremolo is very divisive online. People say it's absolutely the worst thing ever. It's very noisy, very distorted, very weird sounding. Everything on this pedal is basically very weird sounding, but it has a very, very nice LFO shape. It has a nice little tone to it, and I really think that the Worm XO that's the one to get. Unless you really want the wooden box and you want the big giant worm, which many of us do. And I think that you are absolutely right for wanting the giant worm with the giant box.